Okay, so Joe Rogan, I like him. I like his shows. I have respect of how he confronted Carlos Mencia. If you guys don't know about that, Carlos Mencia was this comedian, I think in the 90s, maybe in the I don't remember when, but it was a few years ago. And he was actually stealing other comedians' jokes. And as an artist, when you steal somebody's work, it's like stealing a part of their soul. They put a lot of, whether you're a musician, a visual artist, a filmmaker, a singer, and a comedian. People don't really realize this, but comedians work their asses off and they write. And they're, constantly trying out jokes and materials. And, they're like authors. When you have a comedy special, to me, that's the equivalent of like writing a novel, because it takes so much work to put into your comedy. I have tremendous respect for comedians, okay? And I've seen Joe Rogan grow as a comedian, and I've seen him get better. He's actually gotten better as he's gotten older. His younger stuff wasn't that good, but I think he has more of a sense of who he is as a comedian. And anyway, so there was a guy named Carlos Mencia, and he was stealing other people's work as comedians. And Carlos Mencia was actually a really good performer, but he couldn't be creative. Like, he couldn't make up stuff. So what he would do, he would actually go on tour with other comedians and steal their material and then perform their material before they went on stage. Like, that's some of the most evil shit ever. So Joe Rogan, when he was younger, he actually told off Carlos Mencia, like ratted him out, went off on him about his thievery at the comedy club, and he was like banned from the comedy club for like 10 years, because even though Carlos Mencia was wrong, he was more popular than Joe, and he was bringing him in more money, so they like Joe got the boot, right? So knowing that, I do have a lot of respect for Joe Rogan. I like a lot of the guests that he has on his show. I've learned a lot, but he's a pussy, and this is why. And I don't know, is that considered cursing, the P word? I don't know. Somebody let me know in the comments. Anyway, it just really makes me sad. Like, I guess, we have talked about this before. There wouldn't be a Truth or Talk without Alex Jones. I would name Alex Jones. I would name We Are Change, Luke Rudowski. I would name The Corbett Report. I know there's one more I can't think of right now, but those were really our three top influence. What's his? He's not around anymore. Richard Grove, Peaceful Revolution podcast. Those are like our main people that we admired and looked up to when we started Truth or Talk. And I'm not speaking French. For some of you guys don't know, my friend and I founded this channel, but I'm taking over at the moment. So there's another person involved. So that's why I'm saying we. But there wouldn't be a Truth or Talk without those people. Mainly now I'm speaking of Alex Jones because of the censorship and everything that's going on. And it makes me really sad knowing that Joe Rogan and Alex Jones were friends, and I just really feel like he threw Alex Jones under the bus because he was saying, oh, I'm not going to have him on my show because of legal stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's really a cop-out. That's your friend, and I think that he would have enough respect not to talk about Sandy Hook stuff if he's on your show. In fact, he's not even talking about it on his show. He's apologized, and which has made a lot of people upset because there are a lot of holes in Sandy Hook. And, Joe acts like that he's like, oh, I've done all this research and blah, 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 blah. And he does have a lot of interesting people on his show. I'm like, I'll give him credit. I think he's a really smart guy, and I do learn a lot. But I don't have respect for the way that he'll like, oh, yeah, I'm for free speech and blah, blah. And you have these people on his show, and he maybe kind of sort of will challenge him. And then when they're off his show, he'll talk crap about him behind their back. Or while they're not, where they don't have a chance to defend themselves. And if it's something that he doesn't really know about, like global warming, like there's a lot of really good evidence supporting why it's not, it's a hoax. But I'm gonna say because he's smart and he can do the research, he's just been too lazy to do it. on her write stuff off, or they will talk about these crazy conspiracy theorists when, you know, he hasn't done the work or research, and he'll lump everybody into one category, because not every there's not a lot of people that believe the same conspiracies. So if you're a 9/11 person, you may still think that vaccines save lives. You may hate vaccines, but you don't believe that 9/11 was an inside job. You might believe both of those things, but not believe that the moon landing was fake. You know, but we're all lumped, or you might believe all of those things, but not believe in aliens, you know? So you gotta kind of take each conspiracy and look and ask, you know, a person that does believe in that, what their view is on it, because not everybody believes the same thing. And that's just as discriminatory as, to me, as being a racist or a sexist by throwing all those people in one category and saying that they're crazy. And for somebody that purports to be a very intellectual person and that's wanting to expand, you know, their mind, it's just really contradictory and just a cop-out. And it seems like he's sold out. It seems like he's sold out and just threw Alex Jones under the bus. And then he goes on to say, oh, well, Alex Jones, you know, he was spreading lies about me, bro. Like, he was saying that, like, my family was threatened. I'm like, so? Why are you offended? Why are you offended? So that's not an offensive thing to say. And then he went back and said, oh, he said that somebody told him that his family was threatened. Well, then he's not saying for sure. He's saying this is something that he heard, because he's trying to figure out why his friend of 20 years, would throw him under the bus. Why you would, like, you know, attack him for speaking about George Soros when there's a 20-minute interview by 60 Minutes, a mainstream news organization, saying that, you know, asking George Soros about his involvement with the Nazis. And if anybody watches that video, I'll see if I can find it and put in the links. It's a very interesting, because the reporter, I kind of think he realizes that George Soros, you know, he was a kid when this happened, and maybe he's doing it for his survival, right? So the reporter is trying to give him an out and asking him, oh, so, you know, that sounds like that would be something that would send you to the psychiatry chair. And he was like, no, it was the best time of my life. I was like, oh my God. Like, he doesn't even have any remorse for what he did. Like, I can understand if you're a kid and he'd basically pretend to be Jewish and get families to, like, you know, comfort him, and then he'd sell them out and tell the Nazis, like, where the Jewish families were and shit like that when he was a kid. But now that he's an adult, he doesn't have any remorse for what he did. Like, I can understand, like I said, if you have remorse because you were forced to do that, you felt like that's the only way you can survive as a kid in Nazi Germany, but you have no remorse for what you did, and your actions are basically by his actions, being a billionaire, funding groups to cause inner conflict within companies so that he can collapse the systems, is basically what the Nazis did. So he's basically, like, carrying on that tradition. Yet Joe Rogan, who could have found this out in maybe like an hour had he done the proper research, chooses to throw his friend under the bus and be like, oh, well, I don't know why he would say that about George Soros. It's this poor guy. Man, you're a dick, dude. Like, I think I'm done with Joe. I'm done. I mean, this whole truth movement at the moment is really, it's really disgusting me. You know, this channel has grown since the election because I've chosen to be more consistent with my videos. But I'm like, you know, like I've said, I've had some conservative values. I don't really consider myself a full-on conservative, but I'm a truther, like truthin'. That's really what I am. And there's so many people that are just kind of like selling out, you know, the people that originated this movement, that has empowered people. Like, I see these little wussies like Phil DeFranco that are, and some black guy that are like, oh, Alex Jones is just a meme. He's just a meme. What, dude? Are you kidding me? When you come out of your closet and for making YouTube videos, I know you think because you have like over 100,000 subscribers and you're making like videos in your closet that you're big stuff. But when you like go and like, you know, I don't know, break into a satanic cult ceremony in like Bohemian Grove by yourself, then maybe I'll like take you seriously. Okay? Maybe when you go and protest the Ku Klux Klan by yourself, like Alex Jones did, maybe I will take you seriously, okay? And I know I have people that, like, they think Alex Jones is a shill and all mad and stuff. But you have to admit, whether you like him or not, he's one of the first truthers out there that, you know, got everybody thinking, that start asking these questions, that had the balls to go out and confront these people, where you guys are still in your mama's basement or in your closets making videos. So, like, cut the crap with the meme shit, okay? Like, it really makes you look like a fucking, like, cuck. It does. Just stop it, okay? Come on, dude. Like, really. Like, don't forget where you came from, okay? Like, dudes, people, all right? Please, that'd be great. Yeah, but when you're out doing investigative stuff like that, you know, I'll just laugh in your face when you want to, like, call Alex Jones a meme, okay? Like, please, really. But yeah, man, I mean, it's hard because I feel like I learned a lot from his show and he has a lot of guests on, but I just unsubscribed to him today. Because that really, like, ticked me off, and I was really glad to see a lot of people in the comment section going off on Joe, because it's really sad, because I think that he can have integrity. That's why, you know, I told you the story about Carlos Mencia, because I don't think a lot of people know that he did that, and I think that was a very noble thing of him to do, and I appreciate him talking about psychedelics and weed, because those are two big things that can cure a lot of humanity's problems. Not just fix or, like, you know, have people live with, but actually cure a lot of problems like depression or PTSD or cancer or, you know, some other ailments that we think that we don't have cures for, or we're waiting for the pharmaceutical company to give us the cure for, which is never going to happen. So anyway, okay, it's getting too long. All right, guys, I love you. Follow us on Chute, Steemit, Real.video, Dubba. I'll just put the links in the video. Just follow us, because I really would like to start moving away from YouTube and Facebook because of all the censorship. But right now, this is where the audience is. So we got to stay for a little bit more until we get kicked off. All right, guys. Love you guys. Peace to yourself. Bye-bye.